Bruno. Steve, now today.
Yeah, unse my trumpet Ghana beating Panama. My come for a very long time. Na ya na cruise be or na me who you mahi. But I say we team we na sense baby. Yeah, you see, in as much as Mejitum say Blasters of Ghana, modern bono ewo form na saying na no. This is a fifth World Cup ayeko. Na 5 times ayako ni nyina in total 15 matches ni abo at the World Cup. 2018 they unqualified. 15 matches no ye win 5. And we share draws I about 3 draw at the World Cup and then you lose 7. You lose 7 at the World Cup in the 15 games in Abon. And then you share 18 goals and you conceded 23. So may start from this angle. You were Jumaye in terms of goal concession and the number of matches are you winner. But there's something about the Blasters now unique. And then they say at the World Cup and your team bia na share Blasters. In as much as 15-5 win this and that no. And yet any other team be as a wabe been into Basha Blasters. Now you take a journey down memory lane. Now ya share yanamo to kakra. In 2006, na ye maiden edition no. Yenya Italy and Brazil and a share. Amo ye cathedrals of the World Cup. Italy share the first game and ye two so share Czech Republic and then the United States of America. And a Brazil be ye free. Ye ba 2010, ye share Serbia, ye show mo 1. And ye New Australia a ball 1-1. And a Germany share another cathedral. So in a first 2 World Cups, no, ye share these renowned nations. I'm gonna share. For Germany, almost the game no go deep and sana Mesut Ozil. A shop ye frustrated omopa. And about 2014. 2014, we underrated USA in the opening game. And a USA for share. That game ye should go. Okay, the day you go. We underrated them and almost share. So ushemu ye pa USA and your side based on almost share and kawas almost share. But because of ye underrated omono. And in the group again, we met Portugal. Portugal share Germany. Germany share 3 at that 2014 World Cup. Ghana and Germany bought 2-2 after losing to Germany in 2010. Which means nanka ya upgrade BB.
Abono kramsine win. So yes. Germany 2-2.
Yes. And in your last game, no Portugal, we needed that win badly.
Run to me.
But na niya ya hono. Yama Kodwenchi nyumuno adi kan wo yanim at the World Cup. I was our last game against Portugal. Okay, sikadam. Nti yakoji sikani wie no. Na afei yemu no ye pese ye bibi. Ye pese ye bibi. But
I don't know John Boy who is kept your bench.
You may kiss the cash.
Yeah.
I say me boss Otieje. I say some players had their money in their packs at the bench in the dressing room.
2014.
Me see we are no and da kwa asase ye tisu a living thing. Tisha ni obeye ni bia be san sorry. Nature way and no bedi in so many ways. Inti sa match ni ani abre pass ye be wini.
But now also we na pitch no so wadwen we scanner e wo dressing room one so say bi obi koyi. To all minor come and di agro. I don't know ma de no na so wo kan na nipa mo na wo ya against because so baby ya fly sika na ma de ya wo mo de na mo mra fie.
Baby ajapade so no.
Yeti. Ya microphobia ma na de o mo ka.
Bisine.
Aye tia.
O ma gina chire.
Ebi ma beji.
DK points and fetch beji.
Ebi ma beji o mo nyina age. But yeah, Bompire say me president of Ghana da. Sa squad no na se biti asia me from a discipline me sa boni no me fanche. So in that 2014 we lost again against Portugal so known even though on World Cup ni bida 2018 and Simian qualify, and you're back 2022. We were in the group with Uruguay and again Portugal. And to look at nations such as Ghana, in the ABI, but any country behind me any air toe to toe. That is the reason I'm telling you we will beat Panama.
Not Panama.
Not just I say share Portugal twice.
Yes, you share Germany twice.
Germany twice.
You share US
twice.
Yes.
Uruguay.
Yeah.
So twice.
And you share Asia for you.
Asia for now Australia, Serbia, South Korea for.
But Europe for no crown so omo bano.
So me
European team. Omo imagine na high. But luckily for us, England penaje Croatia nye. Until you share Czech and you share Serbia, European nations there, you show me. So Panama, baby, you free banner, and the South Korea free banner. Almost no more you knew, you show me. So yeah, in the midst of a new who send you a there is a positivity, a positive omen. See a fan on me a person you using a year, it can go to advantage. This is not the best method a group a bit me assemble. This is not the best line of defense a bit me assemble. But said we should be able to beat Panama. And yadia was here cottoners in negotiated DNA motivation ben ya de mama mbeti masha Panama. We don't need motivation because Yensia created a niche for ourselves at the World Cup. Said to beat Ghana no, you should be a country either say waje World Cup ni bida. And I said only a share consistent base. So 2014 the US came and Omunya win. And Portugal on 2 occasions in 2022 and 2014 Omoshe. So Blasters may not look good in terms of games or mabo any results or Modiamae, but I believe Sayensia will be Bidawa Emma Panama. Sani Ekura sa me pacho me I'm open to your question.
Looking at the festival Kenya no exploiter at the foreign a year. The phone no all kind imagine kosi suggest exams your batch be me chapa na batch for aba be gumo ni mo ase but ode adada for the no ka say school we die omutwa ya na etimi deceive kakra so I understand akasefo no tumi ye Serbia no na nketenkete etimi bi but enye batch we intimizam busa Steve say or the history na can all right but practically batch we be be extra na say betimi anya that level of control.
Batch we know. Okay, batch we know. World Cup games I heard so far. I chair me say, coach a play a major part. Our results are ubinya. Inti say ye war technical team at Nase a steady opponent na yeah. It shouldn't be difficult for them to get a win over Panama. Based on Sania, Yehu Capo Verde, Yehu de Morocco for no aye. Yehu other nations be star or mama pay up I go toe to toe with your opponent. If you have a good technical team, we shouldn't struggle so much against Panama. Mijitu say the coach in Ankasa and the record at the World Cup questionable. But he's very experienced. World Cup winner, I had to say Sunday special on Cheni. It's not about who plays the best football. It's about who does the right things at the right time. I know I may expect it from your national team coaches, So even though Mijitum and group we be
top notch, and I think it makes sense because Udi Obi free has say the same thing at diaspora for the mono and no be na nipa club akoye. And I think Oma hold the fort. Me former Porcupine tertiary boy Jordi Aba. So Owomubi. So from Baba Sports Stadium, Jordi Aba Shimore asa kunti sa me ne was at their copy onumbi. So some of these guys are already there. itimu sure mo what they will do for you no hwe ya hwe nipa
Ghana for ya dey
ade me fe ne say they are all wearing something kire say omo ye Ghana for JC ata bibia atade bibia kire we can't afford to disappoint in our first game, which is important. And yet World Cup on Kwani and dance as Subanedi. Even in African Cup of Nations, the last one I acquire, look at the performance they did in the first game. Factor to the second game. Cape Verde shade 2-1 last minute. The performance was poor. Now we come and look at the game against Egypt. And then the more Bianya hopes so Mozambique the Ebeshomo. We don't need to get to the second game or the third game to prove we are good enough. And I think Carlos Queiroz is experienced enough. Yeah, now dream what we're experiencing these stages a lot of times to understand the importance of playing the game against Panama. Partey come on any baby and namno. Yaw, mia meti ha komia jemfi. Me huni se Partey kwebe possible se benya visa mana game no Partey mobia yentimi she Panama na. It looks like we are making a whole fracas out of this situation and trying to save face. And trying to save face. I say, ye didn't come bia kwakosi say I say, chinchina we need to do something to prove say I say, Partey Nkobia ibewu. This is not to say you are not supporting the boy. Yeah, maybe I feel what I say. And then chance won't support the Partey. Ghana for better Partey. But do we need Partey to beat Panama? Then it raises a lot of questions as to what you want to go and do in Canada. I'm not saying Panama team the bra draining TSSwa se Partey Nkobia be share bebre.
No so no say bia o underrate.
Me underrate Panama so. There be ante
Shannon so dey was here.
Shannon so dey was here team show mo. Iti ni afre ni pa ba ko 26. Iti ka Partey su ko prayer no am Panama game there. So we should be ready for contingency plans into the World Cup. It makes it worrying.
That's right.
Says you qualify to the next round. Na Partey with double yellow cards. I feel yes be dwen ho na e be any day. We should prepare a team devoid of every top star or team in India, and we are ready to compete and compete well. That is the mentality I was here this year 3 million into this tournament and at this game. Say quote here and here nchebia omba ko tenase akwa ko tietie na omba hunu de be free mo ba. Ya me information am nya na say bibia free mo ba say de omo say akrate no.
Bibia share am ntina say wa ha obi an confirm bibia.
In 1 hour time, Partey that's who US Abraham no kasa CCA. Partey or that's who US. Me and ma asem ne nya chinchin kwatwimu as the obi a foreign minister abegina mu bi na massa you people you knew it. The minister shouldn't be acting weird. Ya kwaje vesa ma players ni nyina yajibo mu you know it. Nya afini ebe acting all strange say and say last minute. Boy no last minute no kwa force ade ne kojina mu a ya edia oh force ade na kojina mu last minute. So imagine he wins the case today, meaning he will join the team later. Afina okofa flight akodru. Mo ma na wo me match na the wo ho England de no. Let's find a way to beat Panama.
Yeah.
Sometimes you reserve your best players for the best games and bring him to the English game no more. Muntu twi na bodiki. Somebody aboniki ko US wa. Muntu ni bi ne nan no muntu twi. Baby am be bandage ice bath mo mani take bi. Kuma dada bi kura kakra na twi ni kakra mo mani na mo mani aduane papa ni. Mo mani baby ntina na so mo nwono enjoy game no from US. Then when the team is back into the United States, you cheer up towards every fight hard against England. So distraction and getting you avoid it because when he goes, when he's granted the visa, do you think Canada should be also more small groups be or freedom fighters, human rights, do you think they will agree easily? What kind of environment will be created for Thomas Partey or Canada? As compared to the US. For the US, they've adapted to it. You're okay, you're fine. But Odini Bekwe, you're say visa granted. After Thomas Partey go through airport, na human right for ya bejina ho. No mukuta play cards. Na we kuta we, almost yet take care. Nansen kofo bi kra ba no mo abufu kra chem bi. Almost mo ye climate there and there. Omutimi tina ka anim nyina. Obi yire nyem, no take care ni mo mane nko right. Sabi, ye benyo obi oba bedi sansem. No just to get the face of the media. Just to become popular. Near Canada Nabem. So let's not even waste our time and worry our head about Thomas Partey going to Canada or not. Just maybe we've taken procedures, say by law, on fighting and on contending, whether he gets it or not. I mean, I don't think this is a priority. We should be wasting our time. Gidi bia or say Partey kubia as he tiate. Panama. Yeah, Blaster Emre.
So Chineba, you can't Black Stars some more.
Yeah, Blaster Emre. Panama without Partey.
That Panama day, and you say be a underrated, a must.
A must.
Aye.
Because Panama no ba World Cup no more quarter final that.
Can be also.
Panama no kwaji Asian and North America how be tournament be in national like I say Panama there. Ehu gidi be abo adrenality aso. Nobody's underrating them, but we should have many now for that party.
Oh,
to beat Panama.
Right, yeah. Me. In as much as now all discussing maybe say no a far wow my honintino to be a walk crash obeka. But then I wouldn't want to say yen to me and build the cohesion be a fanco given, but the person may cancel so power money public as and say you're booking further but so my idea your question Spain so attacking the makeup of it and all of that. But me catch you say for Quebec to commit only one foul against Spain, no, a deeply down to organization, well organized side. Shadebi has say, "Mami, based on Stephen Command when you know, 22 of the 26 Quebec players who played at the 2026 World Cup were part of the squad that competed at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast." 22 of the 26. No more Ivory Coast. Amokobo AFCON. Yo. Just four players per every team more. From 2023 or Ivory Coast to 2026 or US. Only 4 players.
Consistency. A final Spain mum in a trauma 10. Spain committed 10 fouls.
Yes.
Against Cabo
They were clean. Yeah, they were clean. Being clean, no, and yet down to organization, killing nervousness,
discipline.
A who more, a who more, and I hope a precocha. Share, my message tried there could be more detail in the game. It is more difficult to defend with all players, and all players include attackers. When I say attackers, coach be crying one person attackers, nubi, actually. I'm telling you, attackers in the bar, yeah, no, you're nervous. 2, almost mean defending.
More committed fouls more.
You mean show. Champions League money buying. You did do about a commentary penalty. Big stage, high stakes, attackers and but deep on the commentaries. The often your mono, no Usman Dembele against Argentina. I don't control Di Maria. Kunde, agent Horner, so I'm a Kunde. Track back.
I bet you track not to fall.
Did you do about it? Say, we'll crash it. I'm so much good on one.
I'm saying, baby, you're finding no foul because. I'm the catcher and say, Bema, over committee penalty, but good keeper and betch and account in money how. Goes with a boy now. And
yes, I give no. So I shall go actually. Attackers and about
take can we no cook on cities after
attackers and bet you and Kevin were defending with everybody. So clean. Only 4 players. Shadewa, the core group that reached AFCON quarterfinals remain largely intact and that consistency. For the global tournament, the 22 players who carried over across both competitions include Obobo keepers for Zina, Master Rosa, Obobo Munina. We are about say only 4 and the Ankobi. The previous way now, only 4 and Anko USNB. And it's so surprising say yo. 3 years and I can't want some no. Wakawaha or say the 4 players who were at the 2026 World Cup but missed AFCON 2020 tournament were goalkeeper CJ Dos Santos, defender Wagner Pina, defender Sidney Lopez Cabral, and a forward Dylon Livramento. Omona Ankoha, but Omabeka new squad no. Yao Kevedu. Omo squad cra. But maybe they Ghana the so and it questions collective strength. I between the abobono. Yet 11 players from the 26-man squad for Ghana were also involved in the qualifiers. Yet the one working. na World Cup no 15 debutants. Yeah, 15 debutants in the World Cup. Only 11 and our book qualifies in B. 11 about Jordan and you Thomas Patan to Semenyo Isahaku. Gideon Mensah Lasha Usu, Lawrence Atisgi, Jiku ni Krasi. And a Kamaldin Sulemana. Yo, 15 debutants. When stage na can once now. It is a World Cup. You have no room for error. Now, dear Yankopa boy and say, you're Panama first. So, Minister Voyage, we have no room. Now, you come over here, across Panama. I'm on TV station back, I'm pushing link in the amount. I'm coming on Moody, they say, Omudoya, I want to be a Ghana, Momusi Krumo. Now, Ghana need a weak team. Oh, group.
Name is Sakana, I'm a pen.
I'm saying, go for it.
Also, Momo under it, yes.
Then a weak team, Momo.
Sana, because of better KBA or matches are Bonnet. Ghana Empire, the last AFCON qualifies and qualify Ghana Empire. It's what Panama say a week group.
Now
a week.
Yes, yeah. I think there's something about the World Cup which we always speak about that necessity. Now, there's no World Cup without history. There's no World Cup without and I think for whatever Cape Verde did and ran was something and not a ringing bell to say it will happen in the World Cup. Since Tunisia turned the fate of African football at World Cup in 1978 against Mexico, debutants are almost free Africa has appear in the World Cup. No, free 1978. There has been only one time and a tasty defeat. That was Ghana versus Italy in 2006. Italy shared Ghana by 2-0. Now, this has been the results in the last few years. We in 1978 in the Debana. Now, in 1978, Tunisia bought Mexico. We need 3-1. Okay, thank you very much. Morocco bought West Germany. Olusu 2-1. No, that was 1970, but from 78 in Ebana. So 1982, West Germany Olusu to Algeria by 2-1. Cameroon ni Peru ball goalless. Nigeria ni Bulgaria or she Bulgaria by 3-0. Senegal be France 1-0. Then Ghana lost 2-0 to Italy. Until after 1974, African debutants are omoko pimo World Cup no movie biano. And almost prepare almost self, put almost self in the discussions of an upset whenever they go into the World Cup. So it is no surprising, say, and they will be able to didn't say Cape call World Cup. The first game against a team no be a G2 say yaw. Ombeti me show almost 7, ombeti me show almost 4, ombeti me show almost 5, ombeti me abo more than me who did the 4th. Now the main issue will be how Cape Verde will be able to stand the test of time after Spain.
Yes.
Another conversations in now you look at how these teams are maybe finish here. After Tunisia, Mexico free move in the group stage, first round. Algeria share West Germany. West Germany echo the World Cup final at also second. After Cameroon, any Peru ebo goalless no. Peru echo on a free move in the first round. After Nigeria share Bulgaria. Bulgaria do the semi-final finish 4th at the World Cup in 1994. Then Obabenya Senegal in 2002. France free move in the group stage. Then Italy also the World Cup. Then Obabenya 2006. ABS South Korea Togo be no South Korea so free in the group stage. It check the trends of teams now. A lot of them it doesn't end well for them. So there has been only 2 nations who have gone on to the World Cup final in this particular list. Over West Germany, no over Italy. So it doesn't also sound as a good omen for nations or Mutasia debutants at the World Cup.
But
what a brilliant performance from Cape Verde against Spain. Bravery. But this is what the history of the World Cup is made all about. Now, Newton was talking about the traditional number 9, as he said, Messi or World Cup. You see, the difference is they used to be the superstars going into the World Cup. But they are not the superstars going into the World Cup with traditional number 9s. So, for example, Yeko 2002 World Cup, Yeah, no beer bon wine the Ronaldo Denimadi because a typical number 9, very skillful, different breed, could score anywhere on the pitch. Superstar. You real tournament now another superstar you boni be one. So now we go to 2002. Near Bo Miroslav Klose. Even in 98, deba. No be him say yeah tournament no more ko boy be and cry be on my PB to say tell you mo ko bobi, but there was still Ronaldo. But we is our list in if you want, there was Davos Suka, Meboa. We Davos Suka, there was Michael Owen who also came into the face of the game during that time as a number 9 center forward. But fast forward, you know, and your message, the last World Cup I boy, name strikers I mudi, ne Hurricane Robert Lewandowski, any Romelu Lukaku Munani mudi, a free hall banning in ano, and then the superstars going into the World Cup are not number 9s. And the superstars are equal World Cup I mudi, no be also could Vinicius or a 9. Meboa, it's on your 9. Obi a cohe Messi or a 9.
Run to me.
Obi a say a cohe Lami Yama or a 9. So the stardom and your may attach it with going into the World Cup is a 9 for no or moon who this half for no a beam and tis a first no. Ellen Haaland money the Nottingham Forest Chris Wood moye ye yeah. It is understood say it could work in their favor and make sure at least some few of them could thrive in the tournament. But Enyoma assess tactically, Enyoma the assess tactically. But and when I'm here, Marcelo Bielsa and a born in Saudi Arabia for the level of intensity. You see, Middle East for no matter what happening, it's like they are not coming to joke. Defensively solid. Almost psyche almost solved the Omadu because Iran born Iran there in subsequent World Cups they've been able to prove themselves, led by Mehdi Taremi, Carlos Queiroz, the mobile, and we saw the performances in and out. But for teams like Saudi Arabia, any Adiomaye Kakre should sound a warning to Obi to say no way on the Iraq bebo. Because the Middle East countries have come into this World Cup like Omo Boetia at Tanfubi and Aso Munyomo Besha. So look at Qatar against Switzerland. Look at the way Anom brave in Tuasi. This is Samri, South American team being what team winning a World Cup game.
Yeah.
Uruguay winning be Brazil winning. But this used not to be the norm in the World Cup. But there has been changes. And I say most of these South American teams in here say they've been moved away from their identity, apart from few of the countries who are sticking to their identity. So Brazil has a lot of players who have been Europeanized. Europe before. It will differ from a lot of people need how different they come to the World Cup and they will be. The World Cup is a multicultural stage, but the multicultural stage is not reflecting on the pitch performances. The multicultural thing is happening off the pitch in terms of supporters or member, because the real identity of national teams coming into the World Cup as first no be Italy World Cup will be a kind of defense no deba meboa. But trust you me, if Italy had qualified for this World Cup, any defense no mo deba. Obianim say Joga Bonito, Brazil and no mo deba. And no World Cup no asesa entesa ni coach cry European. So things are changing for a lot of national teams because of baby omu players ni siakai, and that has also reflected in the performances of African teams and Asian teams and the Middle East. And then you check it here, nipa no bo to edema Saudi Arabia, ono wakobo Roma. So they've been able to get the exposure they need. It's an quiet to say obi the nsabe to obi so no mia ne baby no dane no. That is what pushes me into today's games. He said Argentina will need to be careful. France will need to be careful. Norway will need to be very careful, because this is not your usual World Cup. Most of these teams, MBV are transcending into a stage or more bobo ni bi wo baby a momo so bobo ni bi no in European leagues.
Go Iraq for no grounds also mo ha dwen kakra.
Zidane Iqbal mo oba be ye de also mo be ye. But enana dwi Africa versus Africa. France versus Senegal. This fixture Amariasi nyina ye din in 2002, because no bien himself France team no mo de free 98 eba no e wo so mo timi betwi fa Senegal for no so. Then Fadiga and El Hadji Diouf mbe ka chom say there be yem prema sade ni isi. Now ye be fa 2002 ni abefa 2026 ni we say too much is going in the net say. Yo, I think say in 2002 Senegal for no had players but now omo level and superstar dominate the hype around them in Nrui. France came into the World Cup as World Cup winners. We must so bomb into this game as World Cup finalists. So, o check the difference of the France stature in 2002 now to 2026. Difference ni mu nye kakraka bebrebe. Because France kwampo J 2018 as a final in 2022. Omo carry most of their squad na dey ba na mewa. But for Senegal, in this particular fixture, only to 2002 there na we mu nine jina ye because AFCON ye botwa mu ye we say a quarter boardroom koka see the trophy na ma Morocco omo ananka champions meboa. Now you look at the quality of players they have. When we buy into the game no omo kuta Kalidou Koulibaly mo top guys Sadio Mane. So you are looking at a France team omo be share Senegal team enya bibi a bro adwene ntiase so we are in for an equally based game between two quality teams who are not scared of each other. Gue and Co will love to be at the helms of affairs. Yeah, is it going to be a repeat or a revenge? I think in France for them careful in their first game against Senegal. I'm not seeing a game a bit my scoring chart be a baby just France Senegal 2-0, 3-0. There be it will be as close as the Ecuador Ivory Coast game. Very close, extremely close.
Both teams scoring because Senegal were the quality to score. France were the quality to score. But trust me, the difference at the end of the day might be one and only person in the shape of Kylian Mbappe. Yeah, Edru Samria, the superstars will love to come to the party. And I think for Kylian Mbappe, well, proving himself in recent games, he can be the difference maker for the French national team. Algeria, Argentina are done. The defending champions coming into this particular World Cup. Yeah, I think the France ne break his jinx, and so say defending champion be about World Cup ni more group stage ni about be need in film. But France prove differently. France prove differently in the 2022 World Cup. Almost in the final of the competition. Can Argentina repeat the same? I think the test of time for Lanos Canoli, you game we say D because Algeria team no so ekuta now you this fight would push be. But in a nutshell, I think Argentina will stand a better chance against Algeria. Okay. Wo me da say me ba Stivo Hona Stivo de ne de no enso abamauze amanfo bisa me say omomate say bima grante Partey visa ni adebat me be say your official answer hu said you know city because they been me checking on amanfo so de omode ba say ya granting visa of which as a sanity dia na is anke good news mom but me be say bia yi kakra nya sa bebeha nti wo de yen twɛn na so mo yɛ court ebetena nti ebehwɛ sɛ visa na ne obenya mpa ana sɛ sɛ city na no kra no na Steve intio
yeah me da say FIFA was slogan bi yeah what I say fair play my game is fair but in a way Gianni Infantino admitted said this has been a disaster of a tournament and Ojitum said Pali, he and his organization has to be blamed. Any baby or they walk up in a koi. I feel like he didn't envisage, he said this was the situation and this is how things were going to turn out. So Shadrach Bebuame, and the Tarami area game, and I'm more expressing frustration. One of the press I know, Busano, so you've not asked any football question. But if you've not asked football questioner, remember my football answers. But if you want to ask political questions, go to a different presser. Omasemne say it is so unfair for an organization or association which states that my game is fair. It means all factors considered. Adibi AD performance biana, it should be fair. No fairness on the field alone. Adibi are about to play for teams to prepare. Get ready for the match should be fair. So FIFA President Infantino Iran for dressing room and I say I know what you are going through, I understand, but you are stronger than this. He's just trying to say or more motivation be a free outside knowing say yedemo family pa ideally that is not how it's supposed to be. In that regard, accepting, admitting that Okachi will be say, I know what you are going through, I understand, but you are stronger than anything. I think FIFA in a way and Infantino in a way, I don't know who can cry. Now the pressure and the criticism, sir, a free outside Urban is getting to him. It's getting to him because this shouldn't be the situation of Iran. Say out or fly from Mexico. Yes. Almost spending 2 hours for immigration checks. Obo game ni we I see Panama. Terami said we should be here 2 days before the match. Yeah. So if you say your game is fair,
I'll say be fair.
Yeah, fair. The World Cup is revered, it's cherished. It has produced moments. Ama competition are great, but for 1945 war and 90 World Cup it has been a tournament. If we are seeing in any DHR, into Super Bowl, it can never match up to the FIFA World Cup. But if you are calling for fairness, all factors, once will be or an immigration issues, but if you accept to receive the word, you should accept the account. And to say also person here a bank now say you will be washing dishes. Don't attempt it. You come pray for the rain and be scared of the mud. Adebia nature, our terms and condition. So also befa de anymore fa ebia na fiade ye ne ho. Ebia obefa de and boys if one say mukuya. Ebia no so very industrious. The nature in itself, our terms and condition. And if you want to dig deep for gold, then there's a tendency so that is the laws of nature. I are unwritten, but that is how it is. Into conversation about the World Cup now, and will be our accept to be and say, oh, JDR, and be ready to accept all diversity of cultures into your country. But who's a Uruguay for any sick or bomb match? Near Kofan Kramas almost set you giddy because the stereotype in the trim. So, baby, I'm free, dear. Mutadi no born in Wajuma Belgium for Nubeduri, Yadomako Transit. It doesn't happen. It's a festival, a tambourine for us to enjoy. But in here, Yakofa Kraman is who I'm not cruise with you. Maybe you move free by one hand or be there. No move free hotel across stadium, Uruguay team. So, yeah, we and your friend. And now on the show, make a chair say Spain, ne Capo Verde game, no. Yeah, and your bed of roses, and they should be careful because they're very, very interesting. Bibi Achrese De La Fonte underrated or over underrated Capo Verde for them because probably unfollow the African game and the trajectory of progress Capo Verde affirm since 2013 on mobile Momedin AFCON. It has been a team a year on the ascendancy. Now, Spain for the boy gamer a suity Vital Brito Bobista. Say, I know, say square passes no bear no more. And no football, no. World Cup, no, and I say, football, no coaches, not say football, no, say, we have lazy coaches and normal say football. Because World Cup, no, name avenue, see, being who play a for into 2014, when the golden boy, James Rodriguez. Coaches in Nyai boys in ma omu in the talent, no, omu express no and son omu di biaka. The coaches want them to play a certain way. Until I have players and they a team like Spain and yes, that is not football. Somebody should be brave enough to say me take you on opponent. May channel may attempt to shoot at goal. Those things we're not seeing it. So make sure Spain lead up matches to the tournament. You know, me who is coming up against Cape Verde. It was going to be very difficult for them, but the Vucinia goalkeeper, no 40 years. You see a baby who and so where they are sopa on the grandest stage of football and were proven on. We and Saudi keeper no so be so it was an eventful evening of football. Yes, countries are almost fancy to even stand a chance against big boys, you know, but Spain. And you're careful. Omega say beer Cape Verde for any defender. Ya on your son at Spain game in Ancasano and you're lightning. Oh yeah, I'll be back as 2010 san almost and you check the quality of the 2010 team and how arrived they were. The bar competition. The David Villa by Fernando Torres was there. The One Cup de Villa, they were there. They had a lot of stars. Alonso all playing in the middle. I do not think so. We compare certain way and player in the Spain jersey. Uyi no hono. Marco Chiera. The rest were just ordinary. So they will have issues at this particular World Cup, and don't underrate the black man, the African game. No, machine unkofu yomo having.
Friday and I'm really becoming blasters cry.
Yeah, the last time me be videos in the channel and they too. Now and then
more now chief report to God.
Yes.
Born on
yes. Omunimbornable. And then chef France in Senegal. Yeah. A game unia home ya untimimo. So France for a year party nyom sa one mu puli hamstring ne cramps. Senegal will take the game to them because of one thing. They have belief. And the Senegal team is an arrogant team. They are very arrogant. Not because of the arrogance I wouldn't the arrogance on the field of play. Into about 2021 no beji after Yehu say Algeria beji, they met Egypt and Omuji Frio. A typical West African attitude and also lay back. But Omashe Senegal for attitude na Omusho no unlike a West African attitude.
And North Africa for the
and China you're okay with no because of training here ninti your mindset na a bit mediocre and inti say Ghana ni footballer o free ha no ko Arab world no nyeska kakra toka no so start foundation no arelase ni training ni bibia no arelase but Senegal for no enough is never enough for them. The last AFCON and we modern ball. Almost 2018 no fair play rule na you free. The last one they were, I think, in around 16. They would want to go further. And the say so almost start on a good note. It will give them the confidence to surge on. France whether to play the Fabulous Four as Club Yebi with Coutinho, Firmino, Salah, Mane. Whether Obenya the balance, I raise concern. Now, unfortunate for France, almost about another West African side. Almost style no similar. The production line of talent, and so to say, Ivory Coast there, and they will take a lot of solace from there. Internet, Ibimo Pra, in as much as almost work PS squad or minimum Senegal for nos will be Edouard Mendy, Koulibaly, and a Diouf year or ball West Ham United is still there. Aleman in the eye will be starting. So Munya Jackson, he will be a ton because France 4 and 5 now. Almost no and you're so convincing. Almost Dino. But there are a lot of flaws to their game.
Oh, wouldn't say a game no question. One thing I mean, Busame was the fact that De La Fuente, guy, I'm an abroso. But before I make that Spain game, and then 3 days, I make a say the definition of offensive shape, it depends on the analysis you do on the opponent. It's a bra Morocco ne Brazil Ebabeshiano. They had two natural center forwards, physically built, aerially dominant. They can connect to any angle of a cross. I mean, El Kabi who has 7 American, El Neseri. If you've been following their game, 2 strikers you know, but under a certain coach, Walid Igragu. Amo Banana Mohamed Uwabi decided say having those 2 center backs or more Brazil, like I was telling you, so I center forward, it will be easier to take the guy out of the game. So he really moved the code out of Brazil, a plan. But and I'm sure New Zealand game now. Me who Chrysoud, Forest striker now. Or connect one goal, Makasha Shadrach, he knows it. I want to speak to that goal. We are, and then there is another goal from Iran and also Mediama Shadrach. It defines who a center forward is. And so for a few games I have a World Cup, I must steady part and say, yeah, so a fluid attack. Now team no highly technically built maybe. And of course, so used to a natural center forward, so onim the oya maybe. Chris Wood edge ball to Coco ya. If I have the video, you will love it. And Mediterranean, ne head no they equalize man here 2-2 no. Wow, what a build up to a goal. Me show World Cup now. These are moments who said no. What would you go be amount and go back to that country? And when time has come to travel, Oko revisit that goal to be as history. You love it. Iran funny banner. Be a yakwa including even maybe a host to game now. Obiano Kasasa Iran by a day. And of course, they are not even having the best of preparation. League craving cost Iran this year because of the war that among US in terminal. So Iran preparation may say, but every single goal Iran for no treating as a World Cup trophy no magic.
Yes.
Now born a tournament no interested in
because I want I am more.
Makachin Krofu be say football is a very, very important tool. A tool of unity. It's also a tool. It put the whole continent together. Now, game in America once in Iran and New Zealand. Where 4 goals and a bomb. Make a 2 per 1. The 2 per 1 now, right after this incident. The close shot after some ball not turn it. Watch it here. And I just young guy now, your friend just and the ball to it. But on start to baby ball on ball no. I am me describe number 9 on start my after go we say or start more money more. I am talking about a number 9, the function, how he acts as a focal point. We've been a number Morocco for now analyzing on one panel. But when the profile also say very, very good because
for Nottingham
yes.
Center backs no be years na you more found
and now Belgium started Lukaku bench. It wouldn't be a coach de catch Lukaku. Wouldn't be Mohamed Wabi catch El Kabi El Neseri. The prominence on center forwards in Fedi. Who would you have in the corner?
Ntimi nyina fa akome mfa born him real.
And Brazil for so did I got Thiago Atamsi who the way be sorry anymore. For who? João Pedro, who is not a natural center forward. Inti eya kwemisa World Cup when he the typical number 9 for every game no but more because Suarez moko Lewandowski moko omoye the hybrid oni born ho so odin we mo no Chrysoud mo no na make Lukaku mo no hu dem person chire no eya jeje da so didie one top eni bi no hwe ya kwa fa so je ball ne de ba fam. So I want Shadrach to release it here and this ball is traveling at a distance of 70 meters. First of all, coordinating about no keyboard no, but also be any into a flick empty, brought the ball down, caressed it for a moment, and that is a goal.
You say a strike and then go nearby.
A Germany your ball no the free throw to coconut. I mean, look at this. In between 2 defenders, brought the ball down calmly
twice.
When your friend say, "Oh, connect game to the final third," well, no. Oba center circle no o tumi mo ball no bi oni the technical capacity to draw the game close to the area. He doesn't have that. But the award your body free throw ban also. And that is New Zealand. But the most beautiful part, another center forward. Okay, so in Mediterranean. One of the greatest exports from Iran.
Iranian.
You could go no so Shadrach. You will love that goal. And take a man here 2-2. No, you really are near TSC Spain game. And I will tell you something about Spain national team. No, sure. Born a tornado and I'm saying, hey, cross will be in our way. Yo, crosses our World Cup no papa. Mexico for okay go now. Raul they take now. Mexico. The same build up and then right Iran so at the take a man here 2-2. No. This was one moment at Mediterranean who was an American share.
Terramid from the days at Porto.
On my video,
in Cameron, you know, one will name Mediterranean, you be never catch.
Massive.
Only born a bo, a bee. She said Diego Costa Modian. No sword, no son, go no so many.
We are born, you know, or quadia. Yow, about Dragimunina. And that ball ricocheted off the goalpost. Massive striker. On one I saw dragging one by a cano. And yo, the whole thing I discussing or Hano, and you woke up on everybody has a way of celebrating it. I want to talk about just the second goal and why number 9 for here. Jordan Etienne Komoi, Prince Edu Kwabena Etienne Komoi. Aka the other guys, you know. Thomas Brennan Asante Etienne Komoi. Number 9 for the function and a 6 for the goalkeepers. Makani Mami and Sa. With the Spain game
number 9, number 6, and the goalkeeper.
And no one year Jumano.
World Cup no.
World Cup no so far. So 9 the role out of the no. It has to be astute. Watch the goal. Yeah, you saw that goal, eh? But obey beam or offside way. Obey beam. Then we can speak to where honor them on your offside and the number 9. No. Now over T goal no share. I say the movement, the jump, and the connection. When you're offside, no problem. I feel no move build it up, not aquatica no. But I think that we no upon game no. I highlighting into you nina. Yeah, game no. Every game be a major World Cup no be any man you Ghana game no so. Vozina. Na no ade am dan Yankopon ase say World Cup ekoso nyina Benjamin Asare ne atisgi so mo tie chi mo hwe TV o. So the pressure, the everything of friend pressure nerves o hwe bi. And you Ghana next start the first game. Now the Yankopon asai why ya boy crack ese back on say. Yeah, more first game, yeah, more second game. Yeah, show more all games on what it entails, what it is required. Every mistake is punishable. More so, one share Croatia first, one share England first. Yeah, who share Panama first. Now this is Panama phone come on. Now born in here. Oh yeah, we know. On prepare Mexico, Raul Jimenez go on tour.
So cross the buy no.
Watch it, hold it here. Shot, coach Accra.
Or you sandwiched between the 4 and 5.
Mo.
I'm moving pay.
Should be a started build up after going. Who be a started build up now.
When you Chris Wood beam and I say yes, I win ma. Yeah, striker and boss.
Okay, Justin. When you game no Justin in your 2 goals in your brace.
Sending in Chris Wood
and a connect. We should game no. Right after this, she will be a build up in the field. The crossfield. Usually, no, when I am boys, you know, almost pass over mature, no more pass and I'm yeah, we are from a crossfield. It took only one. Asana, Ekwako drew by Bia win so. Okay, Raul Jimenez go no. For Mexico. Once I know some ball pass the corner how.
No, my cross na back far post.
No. Na Panama game no. Yeah, Panama no remember but 10 or the other through ball. Panama, every chance they will create, you know, Shadrach can release, you know, a cross. But the most beautiful part, the all kind, he was sandwiched by defenders, 2 natural defenders, and a connected ball. We say the 2 more. You're 9, Obeli Digana team, you know. You're 6, you build it out from the first phase. Give the big general so and a goalkeeper, very very important. Yes, switching cross paint game. Referee upon our idea and Spain game. But the statistics be a Shadrach. On fair on to soon in Como. Yeah, that's the vote. A cast and be say statistics to say, you know.
So about a ship bikini, a beach. No F, but the actual, you know.
That's it. That's it. And right game.
And now opening batch on yes, and I'll come.
Yes, so but many hunters so but the actual so the found so eventually say the outlook near it's in a Ghana statistical board and over the new but still near to a problem. It looks good, figures and it looks good, but it does not affect the actuals.
It starts the abbreviated
sensitivity, statistics into 74-26. Actually say absolute dominance, but the actual that is stats.
Okay. Yo, so looking at this, your story no, not statistics when we meet him. What's a Pedro Control IG? Kuku Susu Control IG. And they are all making references. Say, I think I woke up now. I started. It is true. Woke up and I think I started. You can keep calm, but the reality is say, oh mommy, Spain line up no one. Uba who say, players na De La Fuente one ya do na no bomb no. But speaking to the statistics, Spain about 27 shots at goal with only 7 on target.
There's a shot to Hunu.
So me kwako share the final the makeup or the shape of the Spanish attack. And we say Obo Gavi, Ferran Torres, and Obo Oyazaba. Sebe, very empty. Omoko dominate we Euros no. Now about 2 natural wingers. Omo force opposition. I mean systematically.
Cole Williams on the left, yes, and Yama on the right.
The importance of these 2 players on the channels, no, they don't force the opposition to sit in the blocks. But in that lineup, no, it naturally forced Cape Verde to sit deep because Gavi no baba infinity. Ferran Torres now Bobby behind Lewandowski, no as a center for near Ferran Conche. So you yes, you are forcing Ferran to crosses, to one-on-ones, to take-ons. Is that how you know the player?
I mean, my whole lineup, and I was like, at the end of the bar, De La Fuente Becker said, "You deploy a boy no on the right, not even on the left. Not even on the left.
On the left, not just a open.
Comfortable.
So and look, Gavi no didn't babato left here, and do Yazaba.
So far, Cape Verde for no four.
Run to me.
Really? No fool say be o. Make me a ne be anti. Omanya one be bar. Omo realize here now too late.
And I can't
because almost say spring for no argument. Me Fabi Krawaha and central for no be argument and say. A new Kwasanka Gavi was 71 minutes. I will know a match. I know you one. Kwafina Gavi free injury about Bob 1 or 2 games before Barcelona.
In an unfamiliar position.
Yes. 2. Omucha say Ferran Torres a ball 81 minutes. And I'm fast because of a biomedicine control. 3. Jeremy Pino, the only winger no 100% fit no. Also kwa Sam Manamo.
Of course either Nico or Lamine deputy
backup one manamo and a Boyer Iglesias on also the only center for number 9 as my work
typical number 9
and also one manamo
oh changing crowd
crosses no osan kebi Iglesias agent
so De La Fuente oye gaga na on revere Cape Verde for no
run to me
on fala na pon to so me ma one secret about the Spanish national team no say do ma ye no waka asem bia mo bia hu say Lamine Yamal ni koni ho no mo Spain team ni nya bibia o and throughout the game Kuku was the left winger obi a wo hwe game ni bia hu say Kuku was marauding on the left channel from full back position to the left wing position Kuku na ekoba systematically it was easier putting more bodies behind the ball because obi a prepare now o check Spain team now the best midfield Rodri, Pedri, Fabian, Obianiachi. But looking at this, Fabian, we are not the best of season with PSG.
Injuries.
Rodrigo, we are not the best of season with Man City.
Yeah, same.
And the 2 players and now the Pedri, Obianiachi. The coach even doesn't trust them. And now Ferran and Gavi themselves. So now you've told everybody, say, prepare. Now add Gavi to Fabian, Rodrigo, and then Pedri. You have 4 midfielders. The system can't convert to 4-4-2. System way a 4-3-3 but almost like a fake 4-3-3 because Gavi Besoro na Kuku which also creates a problem, a big vacuum Spain defense. De La Fuentes, he has to be very careful. Now the reality is Obia person facing Lamino Onyan here just a bono, just a more physical player so when he say optimally on do the level a second about the ball and a kakra with the shame. Kevet, they did really well. Nan komono na me baby we had the amount. Omama me goalkeeper Vozina, Kevet goalkeeper no.
Ma so be say omo danyamia se so mo hu wata. Na one ne se papa. Clifford so ne se papa. Vozina.
My block no crown or te you hono UK hono.
It's only 86.5 with Dews ever bano.
Bra. Clifford do you say? Keep away. Bieka. Keeper. And now you must say the most difficult thing to do and not evade for that day no more defending against the team of both short passes. Spain team no prep ball. So one share by your only clean in your tackles. But I know how many errors and a Kevet committee.
Just one foul.
What would you
say? The record.
So the credit also can't go to the goalkeeper alone. Yeah. It was a collective job. Yeah. They were so clean. Yet you know, at least give about Nyamiani. Benjamin Asari but Nyamiani. Now jetted in the Sabo Bobo Numa. We are not going anywhere. Paneti Baba Dahoma Jetiano. Keep on about that said dear not win son of Gideon Samba Baramam was a crosses on Emradia. So look, oh born or connect Terami connect etonetino. Opa check a born and a Benjamin Asari them against Wolves, you know. You defend us in who calls you. Omutina and Cambono. Ebina Raul Jimenez ahead here. Ebina Mediterranean ahead here. And I'm sure one, I'm sure keep it. I'm so Goli, oh yeah, Juma pa. But we defend us and also Yajuma. It was a work of coherence. Obiani biani yanko ye. Boba kubi mu biye. Eno chino ye no den some money player no warning. Straight in the magical double kina 98. Omu goalkeeper no. We are center back no. Ya was sitting on those.
Ochi boy we are just walk out.
Yeah, but kina 98 keeper no. We are TikTok. We are center back no chiwo we are odo ba so. Otimi boni o ka tournament no kina 98. Satam sika akona mo me hu sa jersey yellow yina. The keeper was so serious. We are mistaken, you know, say okay, no start panacho, and that keep away exhibiting that level of status and ra. But ne exploits, you know, is see the defense and a so. I am scared
for Black Stars.
Your defense, you know.
You share game in answer.
What you Ghana for no be pa? Yeah, now I'm person me.
I'm be answer. Say my catcher boys and say my home farmer na feno. I will send a ball no match.
Yeah, we will make errors
because African country be apart from Tunisia. Quick president ATM afa coach because on some will be uncle for coach on one say heavy rena.
Presido,
man penny coach and make coach. Would you not be FIFA ban? T rena heavy rena never got to us who apart from Tunisia. African country be angu. Continent na nimase
yo
ochana mu hima wona
just we serious
na time so they be born 11 and ajo ye be pon na abodonko 1 am Ghana ni tenase ma ne ba o mache 1 no wan fa de opa ma no de amasum de mo beti bi pa
ko ba bia
ayo yate wo be da senior meza right now wo ma say we say Benjamin Ade say well Spain was lucky they were not playing against a quick counter-attacking team like Morocco. They would have smelled pepper and fire. Next time say no away for no crowd or more kakra. Why na slow?
Transition.
Next place is all. I know actually. Wo, Mr. Abra.